Hello, here is the news of this hour from TSTV. I am Olaide Amosu. Here are some major headlines. Makinde inaugurates 72 police mobile force squadron to combat crime in Okeogun. Lagos discharges 87 COVID-19 patients. Kogi Records first COVID-19 cases. Nigeria's COVID-19 cases now 8,733, fatalities 254. And the foreign team, Cyprus to pay medical bill if tourists catch virus. US passes dire milestone of 100,000 coronavirus deaths. CAF May postpone 2021 AFCON. Kobe Bryant's induction to Hall of Fame postponed. And now the news in details. Governor Seyi Makinde on Wednesday inaugurated the 72 police mobile force squadron in Inaugurate, Oyo State. This is aimed at tackling herdsmen, farmers' clashes, armed robbery and illicit activities, especially within the Okeogun zone of the state. Speaking at the Inaugurate temporary site of the squadron, Makinde said the squadron, in recognition of the vastness of the state and the attendant need for more security personnel and logistics, he tasked the Mopol officers on efficiency in their operations and maintenance of good working relationship with their host communities. The inauguration saw Makinde hand over 5 more Helix vehicles in addition to 2 trucks that had earlier been donated. While avowing strong commitment of his administration to security in the state, Makinde assured of donating more motorcycles as well as a speedy completion of the permanent site of the squadron. Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu in his remarks said a total of 16 squadrons had been added to the existing 68 squadrons. Represented by Deputy Inspector General of Operations Abdulmajid Ali, Adamu charged the inaugurated Inaugurate squadron to be friendly with the Okeogun communities. Oyo State government has re-echoed its commitment and willingness to promote and protect the rights and privileges of all children, especially the girl child. Education for sustainable development. The State Commissioner for Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Inclusion, Alhaja Fausat Sani, stated this during this year's 2020 virtual National Children's Day celebration held at the Ministry's Conference Room Secretariat, Ibadan. Speaking on the theme for the year, promoting girl-child education for sustainable development, she noted that girl-child education is a vital tool for national development. Hence, there is a need for more girls to be involved in education, child welfare and poverty reduction, stressing that education not only promotes development but also ensures that development attained is sustained. Alhaja Sani therefore assured that the state government would continue to support all policies that would promote the rights and privileges of Oyo State children in the right cause. 87 patients undergoing treatment for coronavirus at isolation centers in Lagos State have been discharged. The Lagos State Ministry of Health had made this known in a series of tweets on Wednesday. It said the patients were discharged after testing negative twice for the coronavirus. Those discharged comprised of 40 females and 47 males. The patients were 26 from Mainland Infectious Disease Hospital Yaba, 24 from Onikon, 12 from Etiosa Landmark, 11 from Agidin, 9 from Bagada and 5 from Luther Isolation Centers were discharged having fully recovered and tested negative to COVID-19. Meanwhile, 5 patients have died of coronavirus-related complications in Lagos, bringing the total number of COVID-19 related deaths in the state to 47. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control made this known via its situation report published on Wednesday. According to the report, 7 other states recorded 11 COVID-19 deaths in the last 24 hours. And Kogi State has recorded 2 new cases of coronavirus. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control made this known on Wednesday. The NCDC said the 2 cases were part of the 389 new cases of coronavirus recorded in Nigeria. With 389 new COVID-19 cases, the total number of the confirmed infections in the country stands at 8,733. The Kano State government has said of the 1,146 repatriated Almajiri who were tested for COVID-19, 28 tested positive. According to a statement, the State Commissioner for Local Governments, Murtala Garo, made this known while giving an update on Wednesday. He said 419 Almajiri were taken to Katsina State, 524 to Jigawa State, 155 to Kaduna State, 38 to Bauchi State, and 36 to Gombe State. Kano State received 179 Almajiri from Adamawa State, 220 from Nasarawa State, 96 from Gombe State, 18 from Katsina State, 92 from Kaduna. Out of the 1,146 Almajiri who were tested for COVID-19, 28 of them were tested positive, while 311 were identified with other illnesses like fever, malaria, stomach pain, among others. Also, 1,000 Almajiris were arrested roaming about the streets in the metropolis. Garo added that 723 repatriated Almajiri have been taken to their parents, noting that they would become automatic students of the new schools designed by the government. Moving on to the foreign scene, Cyprus hopes to attract tourists after its coronavirus lockdown by paying the medical cost of anyone who tests positive for COVID-19. While holidaying on the island, officials said this on Wednesday. The plan was outlined in a letter to tour operators and airlines, detailing the measures Cyprus is taking to ensure the safety of its tourism sector. The letter was made public on Wednesday and signed by the Ministers of Foreign Affairs, Transport and Tourism. The Mediterranean island is marketing itself as a safe holiday destination during the global pandemic. The Republic of Cyprus has reported 939 novel coronavirus cases and only 17 deaths. The government said it's committed to taking care of all travelers who test positive during their stay, and as well as their families and close contacts. It pledged to cover accommodation, dining and medical care if a tourist falls ill with the virus. The traveler will only need to bear the cost of their airport transfer and repatriation flight. Spain has begun an official 10-day mourning period for the tens of thousands of victims of the coronavirus pandemic in the country. Starting from Wednesday, all flags in public buildings across the nation and on Spanish naval vessels will be lowered to half-mast until June 5th to pay tribute to the more than 27,000 people that have so far lost their lives. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez on Twitter said the 10 days mourning is the longest period of mourning in our democracy, in which we will all express our sorrow and pay homage to those who have died. The mourning period, which was approved at a cabinet meeting on Tuesday, would also include a solemn memorial ceremony presided over by Spain's head of state, King Felipe VI. According to the government spokeswoman Maria Jesus Montero, United States on Wednesday surpassed the grim milestone of 100,000 coronavirus cases as the pandemic tightened its grip on Latin America. With the European Union unveiling a massive recovery plan to step up its emergence from the crisis, the US figure was a sobering reminder of the devastation being wreaked around the globe by a virus that only emerged late last year. Confirmed US deaths from coronavirus stood at 396 at late Wednesday, with nearly 1.7 million infections, according to the tally compiled by Johns Hopkins University. The 24-hour toll shot back up after 3 days of sharp declines to 1,401. Nevertheless, most US states moved toward reopening restaurants and businesses, cheered on by President Donald Trump, who is eager to see the economic pain of the crisis mitigated as he seeks re-election. The US capital, Washington, will ease its lockdown as from Friday. Britain has shuttered its embassy in North Korea and its diplomats have left the country. Its ambassador said Thursday as Pyongyang maintains strict entry controls to try to prevent a coronavirus outbreak. The North has closed its borders and insists that it's not had a single case of the virus that emerged in neighboring China late last year and has since swept the world. The closure was a temporary move and came because Pyongyang's restrictions on entry to the country have made it impossible to rotate staff and sustain the operation of the embassy, a Foreign Office spokesperson said. Ambassador Colin Kurtz tweeted, "The British embassy in Pyongyang closed temporarily on May 27, 2020, and all diplomatic staff have left the DPRK for the time being." Reports said the British diplomats crossed the border into China overland on Wednesday. Britain intends to maintain diplomatic relations with the North and will seek to establish a presence in Pyongyang as soon as it's possible to do so, the Foreign Office said. Moving to the exciting world of sports, reports have emerged that the coronavirus pandemic may force the Confederation of African Football to shift the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon to 2022. The next edition of the AFCON tournament was scheduled to take place between January 9th and February 6th, 2021. But with 4 rounds of fixtures postponed in addition to playoffs and with 8 months to the event, doubts have surrounded the staging of the tournament. According to a source within the African Football Governing Body, there is almost no chance for the African Cup of Nations 2021 to be held next January. The intention is to postpone the competition to January 2022. The late Kobe Bryant's induction into America's Basketball Hall of Fame has been postponed to 2021. US media reported this on Wednesday. Bryant, who died along with 8 others in a helicopter crash in January, was scheduled to be inducted into the Massachusetts-based Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame on August 29th. Former NBA stars Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, and 6 others are also slated to be enshrined next year due to the ongoing global coronavirus pandemic. Bryant died January 26 at age 41 in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California, that also claimed the life of his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, and 7 others. Bryant was an 18-time NBA All-Star, 5-time NBA champion, and a 3-time NBA Finals MVP in a 2-decade career with the Los Angeles Lakers. And with that, we've come to the end of the news. A recap of the headlines. Makinde inaugurates 72 police mobile force squadron to combat crime in Okeogun. Lagos discharges 87 COVID-19 patients. Kogi Records first COVID-19 cases. Nigeria's COVID-19 cases are now 8,733 and fatalities 254. Cyprus to pay medical bill if tourists catch virus. US passes dial milestone of 100,000 coronavirus deaths. The CAF May postpone 2021 AFCON. And Kobe Bryant's induction to Hall of Fame postponed. And as the world continues to ease out of the lockdown, please follow all health advice and precautions. Together, we can stop the spread of COVID-19. The news was compiled by Mobola Badikale. I am Olaide Amosi. Good day, and thank you for watching.